Hello, everyone. This is Brian Pitstick here with Kyle Williams. We are with Safe Money Partners coming at you from here in Dayton, Ohio. Today, we want to talk to you a little bit about stimulus and in particular, the CARES Act. So, getting right in here, Kyle, why should someone understand what's in the CARES Act?
Well, there's several reasons why. The first one is that this was created to stimulate the local and the national economies because, as we know with the events of this year, there's been quite a disruption in the markets and the economies, and this is done to hopefully stem the tide on that. There's a number of benefits built in here for businesses to help keep those businesses afloat. Most of the money available for businesses is to pay their utilities, meet payroll, that kind of stuff, just again to help stem the tide. So hopefully the economic downturn isn't too bad. But when it comes to individuals, there's two benefits here that most people need to know about. One of them is really simple. It's the stimulus money. And the other one is the ability to access money out of tax-deferred retirement accounts.
Okay. So you mentioned the stimulus check. So how much is everyone supposed to receive from the stimulus?
With the stimulus, every adult is getting $1,200. It's $2,400 if you're married filing joint, and also an additional $500 for each child you have, age 17 and under. And this is based on your 2018 tax return.
Okay, awesome. So speaking of taxes, some people have been sharing concerns about maybe the money is just kind of an advance of next year's tax return money, or that they'll have to pay it all back. Is there any truth to that?
No, there is not. And that's really good news. Again, this is actually based off of your 2018 taxes. So for anybody that did not have their 2019 taxes done, when the act went into effect, it didn't matter. This is not an advance on your tax return from 2020. It doesn't impact anything else. And also what's really, really nice is that money is not going to be counted as income for 2020. So this is not something you're going to have to pay back in the future.
That's great news.
Very good.
So another thing you had mentioned is the opportunity for people to access retirement funds, out of accounts like 401ks, 403b. So what does that really mean for folks?
Well, we hear the phrase once in a lifetime opportunity thrown around quite a lot in our society, but that's exactly what this is. Under normal rules, tax-deferred retirement accounts, like 401ks and 403bs, if you access that money before age 59 and a half, only under certain conditions do you not have to pay the mandatory 10% penalty for that. As of right now, for the remainder of the year 2020, you don't have to pay that 10% penalty. And this is really, really big. This is the only time we've ever been given this option. And we were actually very surprised that this option was made available. So we don't expect to have this opportunity again anytime soon, if ever.
Yeah. So, definitely sounds big for a lot of folks. So can anyone do that?
Well, we can't say that anyone can. There are some qualifications that you have to meet in order to make that happen. Fortunately, several of the qualifications are very broad in nature. They're not specific. So, that's something that you would want to find out is if you qualify. And if you do, what's the next step?
So if this is something that someone does have the ability to do, what should they consider maybe doing with that money?
Well, if you have the option to take it out, you really are presented with a few opportunities here. The first one is that you can just simply pull that money out and you can move that to a different retirement account and you can continue to defer the taxes. You have the option to do that. The reason someone would want to do that is now you have more control over that investment because your typical company-sponsored plan it will give you a handful, usually somewhere between 10 and maybe 18 mutual funds that you can choose from, or a couple of other accounts. Whereas now you have complete control over how that money is invested and what happens with it. So that's one option. The other option is that you can actually take this money out and you can pay the taxes on it now. And now, granted, nobody likes paying any more in taxes than what they have to. However, when you look at the tax charts right now, we're in kind of a lower tax rate. You know, we had the tax effect, or the Trump tax cut that went into effect a couple of years ago. And, you know, talking to a lot of our clients, most of them believe taxes are going up in the future. So if that's the case, if you can pay off taxes now at a lower rate than what they're going to be in 10, 20, 30 years, probably makes a lot of sense to really be looking at the numbers and seeing how much would it cost to buy out the government and pay my taxes now.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely a lot of things that folks have to think about here,
Mhm.
if they want to access those funds. And we thank you all for, getting a little bit of understanding of, what's involved with the CARES Act, what kind of opportunities have been given to you, and hopefully you're really starting to think about what you can do to take advantage of these opportunities and really help advance yourself in your finances for your family and your future. Thank you for joining us today. Next talk, we're going to talk even more in depth about this subject, and we're going to really touch on some of the ideas behind maybe using some of these funds to eliminate debt. I look
Mhm.
forward to our next talk, Kyle. Thank you.